Hey guys, Jared Wesley here of Live Traders, and I'm back for another trade review. Today I took two trades. It ended up being three trades, but two different symbols on Beyond Meat, which is BYND, as well as BILI, which is BILI. One of them was an 84% play, and the other one was just a beautiful, perfect textbook 1 minute 3-bar play. So we're going to talk about both of those today. Made a couple are just about $2,000 give or take today. So not a bad day, a pretty quick day, but I wanted to go over both of these trades. So the first one I'll go over, guys, is on BILI, BILI, okay? So this had an interesting gap up today. So you have to recall or remember that the market gapped up today also. So the market was gapping up between 1/3% and about 0.5% today on the SPY and the NASDAQ 100, the QQQ. So BILI was gapping, but it was gapping from a green bar, and I don't typically like stocks that gap from wide range green bars, and Friday was a pretty good sized green bar on BILI. However, and this is where you have to look at the 15-minute and the 60-minute chart. Don't get me wrong, the daily chart is awesome for your time frame of bias, and then drill down to a 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute for an entry. But sometimes you'll see a green bar on the daily chart and you go, oh, it's a green bar, I'm not going to take it. But if you drill down to a 60-minute or a 15-minute, you can see inside of that daily chart. In this case, BILI on Friday did most of its move in the first 30 to 45 minutes of the day, which means the entire rest of the day, the last 4 or 5 hours of the day, BILI consolidated. So gapping up today wasn't nearly as extended as many of you would think it is because of that lengthy consolidation on the 15 and the 60-minute chart. So I felt comfortable with this gap today. I really liked this gap. It was something that I was watching closely. So early on, and I try not to be super aggressive in this particular market, but this was a beautiful 1 minute 3-bar play. The first bar was a wide range igniting bar, followed by a narrow range resting bar, and then rip. So we got into BILI at $112.50 with a stop loss at $111.50. Now, to be fair, I did get filled a little late. Even though I started my order a little early, I got filled about 20 cents late, which is 20%, which is about the max I'm willing to accept. What I mean by that is if I get filled 25 or 30% late, I'll just get out of the trade, all right? I don't like to be filled that late, okay? But in this particular case, it was only 20%, which is, again, right on the limit. So the point I'm making is I needed a little bit of a larger target than normal. BILI is very strong. BILI is starting to shape itself up. It has a little 1 minute 3-bar play that's forming. Just be mindful. You're looking at a 25-cent spread. The stop loss would be about $1, but BILI does look good at like 112.45 by 112.55, something like that. So keep an eye on BILI. Keep an eye on Baidu and BILI, guys. They're the two ones I'm watching the closest right now, Baidu and BILI. It's just a matter of how aggressive do we want to be, right? Baidu's leaving a big topping tail. BILI is hanging out. And again, you're going to take slippage. The spread opens up to 40 cents on BILI at times. All right. Guys, the spread is what's bugging me on BILI, guys. BILI 112.50 by 111.50, guys. BILI, almost the same trade. 112.50 by 111.50. Trying to get the post out. There you go. Not 11.50, 111.50. Okay. How late was my fill on that? I don't even want to know. Yep, as expected. I had to take shares off, guys, because of how late my fill was. I got filled 17 cents late. So I'll type that in a second. BILI stop. Break even. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I got filled really late on BILI. 20 cents or so. Actually, it's like 24 cents. So we'll have to wait and see what happens up with it. But I need a bit more. Okay, so normally I would shoot for about $2, which is 2 to 1, but this time we had to go for a little bit more than that. And also, I've made a slight adjustment with my management. I'm taking 1/3 to half of my shares off at 1R now, and then letting the back go for that 2R. So I'm averaging about 1.5 to 1.7R for the winners instead of 2R. But anyway, you can see here on BILI, wide range bar followed by a narrow range bar, and then rip. It was pretty much a painless trade. It was a little bit spready and whippy off the open. We acknowledge that, but it was still within our parameters of acceptance with a $1 stop loss. So BILI was a nice textbook trade. If you take these types of trades, you'll usually do well. But one caveat here: it can be more dangerous and more aggressive and slightly less reliable when you take 1 minute 3-bar plays. I would generally like to see people wait for a 2-minute 3-bar play or a 5-minute 3-bar play, maybe even a 3-minute 3-bar play. That's fine. Okay, the 1 minutes are good, but that you can get shaken out a little bit quicker. So moving on to the second trade I took, this was on BYND, Beyond Meat. And this was a stock that over the last week and a half has just absolutely ripped. I mean, this thing ripped, okay? And then on Friday, it had a big time pullback day, and today was a continuation gap down in a market that was gapping up. So you automatically had relative weakness. And here's the rub: I actually had a bit of a bullish bias in today's market, but the market just tanked. I mean, the SPY went down. I think the first 10 2-minute bars in a row, the SPY went straight down. So it was a good opportunity. It was a good timing to look for a short idea. So I took a little bit of a sloppy, you have to admit, it was a little bit of a sloppy 1-minute breakdown on this at the low of the day. It was right around that 141.50 area with a stop at 142.50. Well, it triggered us in by about 20 to 25 cents. It came right back up, stopped us out by less than 10 cents. I think it was 7 or 8 cents it stopped us out. So it triggered us in on the short side, came right back up, stopped us out, and what do you think it did next? Came right back down. Right back down. I mean, within 30 seconds to a minute. So clearly the computers, the high-frequency trading machines, they were thinking on this one. They shook the tree, they shook out the weak hands, which happened to be me, and then they dropped this thing. Yeah, 141.50, guys. Watch that on whatchamacallit. On BYND. So, guys, what's the spread on this thing? 141.50 by 150. Sorry, 141.50 by 142.50. Guys, BYND 141.50 by 1. If I can get this out there, 142.50. Short, guys. Short. I'd like it to sit here so we could get a tighter stop. I'd like it to sit here so we could get a tighter stop, but we'll see if there's any follow through to this thing. That's not at all what you want to see there on the initial drop. Went right a couple pennies past the lows there and didn't do anything. So we'll have to wait and see. SPY's going lower, so this is why BYND has to move soon. This was an aggressive play on the 1 minute here, a little breakdown, but it wasn't quite at the low of the day, even though it did break the low of the day. So we'll see. BILI's kind of hanging out. And if BYND breaks above 142, we're in trouble. All right? Just telling you now, if BYND happens to break above 142, we're in trouble. Yep. Okay, we're done. So you can stick a fork in BYND. I'm going to stay in it here, but I think this thing's done. Fork it. Just, it's done. All right? Just hopefully don't get, all right. All right, we're out, BYND. BYND stopped out. Good on the computers. And look how it broke with very little volume. So most of the people who took this thing didn't take many shares of it. That's for sure. I'm back in BYND. Look at this piece of shit. These stocks, man. These damn computers. Unreal. Just unreal. If you're back in BYND, stops break even. But you know what? I don't give up on the first strike, the first punch. I'm getting back off the canvas, right? So I use the 84% trade, 84% rule, and I got right back in this thing. And what happened? It was boom, as quick as it stopped us out, it was that quick of a winner on the next trade. And this thing ultimately ended up going like 9R. I mean, it dropped like $8, $9 from our entry point. I ended up getting all my money back from the loss on the first trade, plus an extra $500 or $600 on the second trade. So all in all, it was about a couple $1,000 day today. I probably cost myself about $300 or $400 today on a little bit of poor management, getting filled a little bit late here and there. But that's the way it goes. So it's a good start to the month, guys. But two things you need to learn. One, perfect patterns rarely fail. PPRF. Learn that mantra. PPRF, perfect patterns rarely fail. That was BILI. Decent gap, okay, relative strength to the market, great 3-bar play on the 1-minute chart, boom, done. Second thing you want to learn from this lesson, not every trade works like BYND, and if they don't work, consider getting back into them, but make sure you back test it before you do that. Don't just say, oh, Jared said to get back in, I'll get back in. No, back test it. See if getting back in makes sense for you, makes financial sense for you. I know for me, it's called the 84% rule on purpose because they work an extremely high percentage of the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review on BYND and BILI. I'm Jared Wesley of Live Traders. We'll get back at it again soon.